Item 3.2 is a resolution issuing a written reprimand to Councilmember Alan Lee for violation of the City Big Bear Lake Council Rules of Order. And Stephen Deitch.
Thank you, Mayor and Council members. At the February 25 City Council meeting, a special meeting, the City Council directed the City Attorney to prepare the resolution before you tonight. It's a resolution of reprimand, and I think the resolution is self-explanatory. Council members expressed concerns and disapproval of certain general actions and specific actions of Councilmember Lee vis-a-vis the rules of governance of the City Council that have been in effect until tonight. The resolution before you was my attempt to follow your direction and include what I had heard at the February 25 special City Council meeting. With that, I'm prepared to answer any questions you have.
Mr. Deitch, questions for Mr. Deitch?
I have one question, which is how does the adoption of the new rules of order impact this resolution now that cites back to our old rules of order?
In my opinion, on two bases, there is no inconsistency or impact. Number one, just so that you understand, the enforcement provisions of the new rules include reprimand and are consistent with the resolution in front of you. And number two, your displeasure, of course, relates to the failure of a council member, in your opinion, if you were to adopt this resolution regarding compliance with the former rules. So that would be a basis for finding reprimand if indeed you're so inclined tonight.
Thank you. I just wanted that clarification.
Any other questions, comments? Yes.
Is there a term, like a length of term? Is there an expiration date? Does it just apply to the Councilmember Lee's entire next 2.5 years of term, or what is, sorry, the verbiage eludes me as far as the question, but is there an expiration date?
No. And you, as a council, can decide at any time whether any action by any council member rises to the level where the council feels a reprimand or a censure might be in order. So it's simply a matter of whether over time you've observed behavior, or in this case, continued behavior. And I think the resolution addresses the continued possibility in the last section, Section 5, where in effect this reprimand resolution is a warning. And if the behavior were to continue, if you adopt this resolution, then the next step could be employed, doesn't have to be, but could be, which would be a resolution of censure following a public hearing after notice is provided to the council member regarding the basis for a possible censure. That could be done any time in the future. I recommend, however, you allow the council member sufficient time to display compliance with, in this case now, the new rules governing the City Council.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, Randy.
I have a comment.
Yes.
If I could. If I dig real deep and try to have some empathy and compassion, I can understand how this might be very difficult for Mr. Lee. I wish we weren't in this position, but I do believe it is self-induced. I hope that Mr. Lee listened to the meeting that we had a week ago the previous Friday, and that he will heed the warnings. I find it hard to understand why Mr. Lee can make it to school district meetings and ribbon cuttings and court appearances in that week, but can't seem to make it to that meeting, which for me was probably one of the most important public meetings that I've ever participated in. And I would think the same would hold true for Mr. Lee, since he was a significant portion or subject of that meeting. This is the equivalent of a governing or government intervention. And I'm worried. I'm worried for us collectively. We saw tonight what the impact of this continuing behavior is and the damage that it does. I'm worried for our community. I'm worried about the continuing abuse. I'm worried about the fallout. I'm worried about Mr. Lee, and if this is intentional behavior and he's aware of the damage and yet he continues to do it, or if it's a matter of lacking the capacity to understand the impact, and if he is simply in denial of what's going on around him. I am fearful that we, in effect, will have to make good on the threat of censure. Whenever we've expressed concerns previously, all it's resulted in is escalation of the same behavior. I hope I'm proven wrong. I hope that our fellow council member is able to hear certainly the voice and concerns of his colleagues. Perhaps tonight he'll hear the voice of a lot of concerned community members, and that we can get through this difficult period and get back to doing the good work of the city. Thank you.
Councilman Lee.
Thank you, Mayor. And I appreciate the sympathy or empathy expressed by Councilmember Putz, but to be quite candid, I find it disingenuous. I have, and one of the things I'm not going to do is play to an audience tonight. I have received all of the nasty notes and messages, including from your wife, and I ignore them. I received a nasty note from Reggie Lamson, daughter-in-law, and I ignored it. I can withstand the attacks. I think I've been called a narcissist, a dog, and that's by my colleagues. And I have referred to none of my colleagues as such. I think that this is more political than actual. I think that it's important to have political debate, and if we all think alike, we don't think much. And I think we can make much to do about anything we want. I really appreciate the candor of my colleague Moat when she says, hey, I just don't want to hear about his town hall, so that's why I'm doing the rule. And I would just really appreciate if we just say...
Councilman, I don't mean to interrupt,
but you are.
Well, because we have new rules in order right now, which gives you a 3-minute limit for your discussion, and, well, 3 minutes for discussion, 2 minutes for question period of time. I'm just...
Well, I think she said it's actually 5, and I know we strategically
well, let me finish, if you don't mind.
Well, you interrupted me, but go ahead.
All right, well, because I'm the presiding officer, and that's my duty to do that. So what we'll do is I'm going to let you continue, but there will be a point when I will have to cut you off.
Okay, what point is that?
Well, it's a total of 5 minutes, so you have your choice of your 5 minutes.
Okay, well, I probably won't take 5.
Well, we've burned about 4 already. I'll give you 3, so.
Okay, I probably won't even take that because, again, politics is politics. I would only ask that each of my colleagues sign it. That's important to me, that you put your signature and you put your name on it. And I'll conclude, perhaps, can say it better than I can, is in the words of one of America's greatest poets, Maya Angelou. And she said, "You may write me down in history with your bitter, twisted lies. You may trod me in the very dirt, but still like dust I'll rise. You may shoot me with your words and cut me with your eyes. Kill me with your hatefulness, but still like air I'll rise. I'll rise, I'll rise, I'll rise." Thank you.
Just move.
Perry.
I wrote all these comments that I wanted to say, and I'm generally somebody who likes to give people the benefit of the doubt. I like to see the best in people and believe that they will rise to that. But the spin and manipulation is enough. They say the definition of insanity is doing the same thing day after day and expecting a different result. And I think I had been hoping with Councilmember Lee that I would get a different result. I didn't want to get to this point. I was hoping, beyond hope, that maybe Councilmember Lee would do the smallest thing to say, "I'm sorry," to say, "Oh, maybe I got that wrong. Let's work together." Maybe he would return an email or a phone call from the time I got on City Council to actually sit down and get to know me. I was struggling with this because I want to see the best in people. And then I saw Councilmember Lee's most recent National Enquirer Big Bear paper that he puts out, and there were just factually inaccurate things about me. Basic things. Now, I'm not talking about who called the meeting last week. I'm not talking about whether I'm in the pocket. Basic things. When I moved up here, how I was elected on the same ballot as him to the hospital board. And so I did something I don't normally do, which is I just posted on Facebook, the truth is that I've actually lived here since X, moved up full-time Y, was elected to the hospital board. And instead of just saying, "I'm sorry," instead of correcting it, he just deleted it. And then he just deleted me as a friend on Facebook. I wasn't asking for anything. I don't lie about you. I don't put your name in my mouth. I don't make insinuations about you. I'm not in the pocket. And all you do is, instead of trying to work with somebody, I don't care if you disagree with me, but have the decency to tell the people the truth about why, or let them ask me why I voted the way I do. Don't lie about us. Don't claim that we are bullies when you perpetually throw the first punch. I am a decent and kind person. I have never done anything to you, and you have gone out of your way to lie about me, to lie about my colleagues, and enough is enough. Now, do I think this resolution is going to do anything? No. Do I think it's probably going to make things worse for us? Yes. But at some point, we have to stand up and say, enough is enough. I am not a politician. Councilmember Lee, I'm not a politician. I don't care whether I'm reelected. I haven't even said whether I'm running again. None of this is political for me. I want nothing more than to be able to serve the community, to do it with decency and respect and division. It's fine if we don't agree, but just show some decency and kindness. There's nothing wrong with that. You can still serve your constituents without attacking and bringing everybody else down.
It's obviously very emotional. And frankly, Mr. Lee, lying about me constantly, lying about my wife constantly, lying about members of our community constantly. It's not becoming of a council member, and it is not productive, and it's divisive of our community. And you constantly do it. When you first were elected, I called you and congratulated you. I set up a meeting and spent 2 hours with you to get to know you better. And the disappointment, I just can't even express enough, in that if somebody disagrees with you, you've had people basically who have been your allies, they disagree with you, and now they're your enemies. It's the wrong way to handle it in any community, in this community. So if nothing else, stop lying. Please just stop lying. And you do not have the floor. Mr. Lee, you do not have the floor. You've already used your 5 minutes. You do not have the floor. Yes.
I can't follow the eloquence. I wasn't prepared to say anything. I looked at the rules and the violations, and it's very clear. It's very black and white as far as what is violated. But I want to add, from a security standpoint, why do you think I requested live feed from beginning to end of meeting? Why do you think I know where my exact exit is for meetings? Why do you think there's a sheriff here or two? This is concerning for security, for staff, for community members. I don't get it. When you sent an email out last year, after I was the one no vote for your moratorium request, and you sent an email out to everybody calling me out physically, personally, and saying, Bennett Moat single-handedly, didn't vote for this. I considered putting, we now have a camera in our front yard. I've considered putting a fence around my property, which I can't stand. This just sucks. So I shouldn't have to do this. It's not, like I've said, it's not worth it. I completely concur with everything everybody else is saying. I just wanted to add from that point that I shouldn't have to come to meetings and be concerned about how you are going to treat us, what you're going to say, how you're going to act, if you're even going to look at us at this point. So I did have one amendment on violation of Section 2E1, which is A. He's actually made unsupportive and deceptive personal attacks and misrepresentations, not just in communications at council meetings, but in newsletters and outside of council meetings. So that would just be a verbiage amendment. Thank you.
I have several cards in front of me regarding item 3.2. I'll call up Rick Snow, and Patty Hafen will be in the batter's box.
Good evening, City Council members. I used to be CEO of a company with 1,000 employees, and I have one concern. It says resolution for censorship, and I know this is a little off topic, but there needs to be safeguards for the employees of Big Bear. There needs to be something. Witnesses in the room when he's speaking to these employees of Big Bear, so we don't lose another good employee. And your liability is how you react going forward. You've already lost one employee, and he's not suing because he's a good guy. The next person might sue. Just letting you know.
Thank you for your comments. Patty Hafen and Maureen Auer is on deck.
My name is Patty Hafen. I'm a 31-year resident of Big Bear Lake. I know most of the people in this room, and I actually live here, Mr. Lee. Thank you for the opportunity to speak. I apologize to those who have already heard this, but this is for Mr. Lee, as this is the first time I've ever seen him in person. We have never met. Last year, no, he won't look at me, and that's fine. I'll look at him anyways. Last year, you falsely accused me of being coerced by Mayor Herrick to speak against you for your bold use of the city's logo for a personal event, another town hall event. Last year, I did join that town hall, very contrived, by the way, and this year, you did not send me the link. Big surprise. Very expected. I wrote to you then, and I reiterate to you now that I speak my own words, my own thoughts, my own beliefs. 3 things became clear to me from the drama you created from that interaction last year. 1, you refused to take responsibility for your actions. 2, you play by your own rules with outright disregard for your colleagues. And 3, you think I need a man to tell me what to say because you think as a woman I am not capable. Let me be clear with you, Mr. Lee. I have my own voice. You have attempted to silence it by knowingly violating my First Amendment rights, by deleting my comments and others on your social media posts. Other women in Big Bear feel as I do, and today I am speaking on behalf of all of us whose voices you attempt to silence. We will not be suppressed or bullied by you because we are strong women that you cannot mute, no matter how you slice it, slant it, or spin it, as you habitually say. Your misogynistic behavior needs to stop. Maybe you need to look up the definition of that word. One of my comments on your post that I found very interesting that you deleted was when I said, quote, I choose to focus on our similarities rather than our differences. Yep, you deleted that. This is a clear example to me that you rather focus on our differences rather than our similarities. You play by your own rules. Believe me, you are not the victim here, though you will claim to be. My issue with you is that you are unethical, you are dishonest, you are a liar, you slander and defame your fellow community members, you are a drama queen that can't take any criticism because you're so fixated on maintaining your self-serving victimhood. It doesn't work here.
Maureen Auer and Gloria Mead is on deck.
Hello, thank you again. First of all, I want everyone to notice that there's a large group of people wearing red today, and that, pardon me? Oh, and that is in support of Councilman Putz, Moat, Mayor Herrick, and Melnick, certainly not Mr. Lee. The other thing, for the public record, I'd like to formally ask that Mr. Lee cease and desist slandering, harassing, and bullying me in any of his platforms, and because he really does not know me. And again, I'd like to appeal to the public at this time. If you care about your family, your community, your job, and your property values, you'll question Mr. Lee's motives and divide and conquer tactics and not believe any of his deceit. Alan Lee is bad for Big Bear. And on a side note, tomorrow's my birthday, and a good birthday present would be no Mr. Lee.
Gloria Mead and Don Rao is up next.
Again, thanks to all of you wonderful city council members. Even though I'm on the east end of the valley, I still come to a lot of the meetings here when there's something that really interests me and I want to support all of you. And every time I've come, I have been hurt inside by Mr. Lee putting you guys down verbally. And I keep saying, Mr. Lee, look at me here. Of course you won't. Each one of you are the winners. He's not going to be a winner. Please. He is very disgusting. Thank you for looking at me. And listen, you are disgusting. You are very disgusting. And we're just very, very sad that you're here to give all these other wonderful board members here on the city council and the staff all the challenges that you've done verbally. Verbal abuse is worse than physical abuse. It builds up like a volcano over time and it'll explode. And that is your fault. And that is so sad, and I don't think you should stay on this city council anymore. Are you listening? Very disappointing. Please, you, all of you wonderful members, don't ever give up. You be the winners, not him. Please, thank you, each and every one of you.
Don Rao, and then Dan Corona.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I want to state clearly that I am speaking on behalf of myself as a private citizen this evening. Thank you for thank you for building consensus and working together. Thank you for being collegial. Thank you for representing your citizens with civility and class. Thank you for being respectful when you agree to disagree with each other. Thank you for not misrepresenting yourselves or me, and recognizing that Bonskin, sir, is not a part of the Big Bear Fire Authority. I thought it would work to provide a Bible quote for you this evening to ponder. Out of Proverbs 15:22, it says, "The heart of the righteous ponders how to answer, but the mouth of the wicked pours out evil things." Continue to be righteous, and please know that you are not alone and you are appreciated. Thank you very much.
Dan Corona, followed by Lori Hutchins.
This is the first time I've spoken. You've all seen my emails. And no response. And there's a lot of anger here, but this was real, people. Every one of you ignored the physical attack that was done on Lori. I've asked for some support. I know she was in contact with you, Moat. You blew her off. I can't tell you the devastation that this person, Eric Cruz, did. She was on her porch after I called code, which didn't show up, which is not uncommon because there's thousands of these party houses. There's only a few of them, so they can't show up. Shut up, I'm not finished. This is wrong. Alan was the only one that stepped up and went down to court with us. On January 7th, he was down there with us, and we got blown off again by the district attorney, which is not uncommon. At that time, he made a comment to the supervisor, which I didn't even know existed, and she said, you know what, here's what's going to happen, and we're going to reschedule again for the 25th of February. You all knew that. That's the reason he wasn't here. Because nobody else was going to support her. Not you, Moat. And this is just wrong. And we have to put up with it. Every single time somebody comes next door, we look at ourselves and we don't know what the hell is going to go on. I put double pane windows up. I put security cameras up. In fact, I just changed them again. I put up fencing. And no support from you guys. And I don't know how many times I've emailed you, Mayor. No response. And I live in your district.
That's not accurate.
Yes, it is accurate. The only time you responded was the last time because I copied everybody else. I'm done.
Lori Hutchinson. If any other members of the public like to speak on this item, please come forward. Yes.
If I may, I just wanted to thank the council members for taking this action. I think that true bravery always requires vulnerability, and it takes a lot of vulnerability to stand up to a bully and say that you're done and enough is enough. And I just want to thank you for proceeding with this. I think it took a lot of bravery on all of your parts.
Thank you for your comments. Any other member of the public like to speak, please come forward.
Again, Miguel Gonzalez. A lot of people out here probably know me because I tend to stir up a lot. I'm not the most eloquent person when it comes to saying what I think is true. I say a lot because many people don't speak up. They're afraid to because it might be bad for business or afraid someone's going to follow them. I'm not afraid of any of that. I will tell you all that it's not me anymore speaking out for you guys. You got all these people. You got a community now that's behind you. The secret's out, and they will be here for you, so be strong for us. Keep at it. We'll be there for you guys.
Thank you for your comments. Do we have any other member of the public like to speak on this item? Please come forward. Okay, seeing none, we'll now bring this back to the City Council. Looking for a motion, action,
I
or
would
comment.
move for approval.
I will second, and will you amend your motion to just include my little verbiage on
Could
section
you repeat that for me, please?
where it says, and city manager, in communications at council meetings, just to include in communications at council meetings and outside.
Sure.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, we have a motion. We have a second. Any other discussion? Roll call.
Councilmember Melnick,
Unfortunately, aye.
Councilmember Putz,
Aye.
Councilmember Lee,
No.
Mayor Pro Tem Moat,
Aye.
Mayor Herrick.
Aye.